Hey everybody, it's Miss Hunt. Today is Wednesday, the 11th, and I hope you're doing great at home. I've got a lot of you guys in quarantine, and I still have several of you guys on my online learners. So let's go ahead and get started. First of all, are you keeping up with the lesson plans and doing what you're supposed to do every day? By today, you should have watched the videos. So make sure you're keeping up with the lesson plan that I have on here. I do that for a reason so that you guys at home can keep up with it every day. So today is Wednesday. Yesterday, you were supposed to watch the videos on transcription and translation. Make sure you're doing that. I expect, especially my online learners, are watching these videos every day. If you're not, then you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing at home. My quarantine kids, you should be watching the videos too, so that you're keeping up with the lessons online. All right, today we're doing chapter 12, section 4, and we have a gene worksheet or mutation worksheet to do. And then tonight you're supposed to be doing study guide section 4. Tomorrow we turn in our study guide, so make sure you get that done and turned in. And we're going to do a review section in the textbook. And then Friday you have a test on USA Test Prep. Make sure you take your test on Friday. All right, we're going to go into the Google Classroom, Chapter 12 notes. I've actually got it pulled up right here, so we can go ahead and get started. Okay. We know transcription and translation is how we build the protein. We know we have to transcribe a code, and then we know we have to translate the code, and that this is how we build a protein. But the question is, when do we do this? I don't need to, yes, I'm continuously growing hair, but what about codes for things like teeth? You have a code for baby teeth on your DNA. There was a time when you were a baby and you started to grow baby teeth and have a full set of baby teeth. And then that gene kicked off and another gene turned on for you to grow your adult teeth. You still have on your DNA code for baby teeth, and you still have code on your DNA for adult teeth, but your adult teeth aren't being kicked out. They aren't falling out and getting replaced with a new set. Some of you, maybe you've lost a tooth or had an accident and chipped a tooth, and you think, man, it would be nice if I could grow a new set of teeth. Could I turn that gene on? Could I turn it off? That would be kind of cool. All right, so for prokaryotes, being able to regulate and turn genes on and off is a little simple. First of all, you're going to have something called an operon. And an operon regulates turning off and on genes. So an operon is a section of DNA that contains the genes for the protein needed for a specific metabolic pathway. Remember our prokaryotes, we're talking about no nucleus, no membrane-bound organelles. We're talking about bacteria. We're talking about archaebacteria and eubacteria. All right, so the first one is called the TRP operon. The TRP operon is going to turn on a gene. When a gene gets turned on, the RNA polymerase comes on. It starts at the promoter site, which gets a gene going. We code for mRNA, and then we make our enzyme. So here's enzymes being made inside of a bacterial cell. There wasn't anything in the nucleus. The nucleus doesn't control it because there is no nucleus. So all you have to know is that the TRP operon turns it on, and the LAC operon is going to turn off. So anytime a gene needs to be turned off, that's the job of the LAC, to turn it off. And that's it for our prokaryotes. I know there's a lot of detail in these pictures, but all you really have to know is turning on and off. Okay? The TRP turns it on, the LAC turns it off. All right, for our eukaryotes, remember you have a nucleus and you have membrane-bound organelles. Controlling transcription to know when the right time to make a protein and the right amount. The complex structures of eukaryotic DNA also regulate transcription. So here is a fly. Flies don't always look like this. Do you know what a baby fly is? You know a maggot? A maggot is a baby fly. It looks like a worm. But our insects go through metamorphosis. And metamorphosis is not by a time. It's not like you are definitely an egg definitely a larva for a week or 3 months. You're a larva until you eat enough food, and then you get to go through your metamorphosis. Basically, you have to have enough food in order to go through that life change. We call these genes hoax genes that are responsible for the general body pattern of an animal. So going from a worm, a maggot, to a fly is a complete different body change. So we're going to turn off genes. We're going to stop transcribing, translating for the worm body, and we're going to turn on other genes to make legs and wings and eyes and a head, abdomen, thorax, all these things. And that's pretty crazy, or a head, thorax, abdomen, to be able to make all those things. So that's what we're talking about here. So in eukaryotes, genes can turn on and off. The hoax gene, that's what you need for a complete body plan. RNA interferase is another enzyme that can stop the mRNA from translating a message. So let's say the gene for me making baby teeth got kicked on, and you're like, oh my God, that'd be terrible. The interface, the RNA interface, even though the mRNA has been made, it'll stop it from being translated. It'll say, wait a minute, she doesn't need that right now. Don't do that. So you kind of have protection that genes aren't going to just all of a sudden turn on and start working. All right, so that's the beginning part of that little section, and it's kind of okay, but the next part is really important. This is our mutations, and we're going to see other things about mutations when we get back from Christmas, we start getting into genetics. So sometimes we get mutations on our DNA. I talked to you a little bit about sun radiation coming through, and that radiation, that UV radiation, can mutate some of our skin cells and cause different things. So when we get a mutation, a permanent change has happened in our DNA. We can have a point mutation, basically means I can point to it and say, that's where it happened. This is the gene code that changed. We can have an insertion where just a new amino acid was coded in the middle of that protein. Or we can have a deletion, something got taken away, and it changes the mutation afterwards. All right, this is in the textbook, so if you're having a hard time seeing this, look in the textbook. This goes into a little bit more detail. So here is a substitution. First of all, let's look at the normal one. They gave you an analogy of a 3-letter, because that's a code, 3-letter words. So as if each one of these was a code that coded for an amino acid. So they said, the big fat cat ate the wet rat. So let's look at a substitution. Here we've substituted the G for a Z. The would still code for the same amino acid. Fat cat ate the wet rat. These will all be the same amino acid, but this guy right here is a different amino acid. So this is a different amino acid, which means the entire protein is going to be changed. And here, muscular dystrophy is caused by this disorder. I'm sorry, right here. Achondroplasia is caused by this disorder, okay, which is dwarfism. All right, here you have a deletion. So what happened here? And this caused a frame shift. So if you look at it, the letter E was deleted and everything shifted over. So instead of THE, it's THB. You can see how everything is shifted. So every amino acid is messed up. And of course, the protein is messed up too. All right, we'll look at the worksheet that goes along with everything today and kind of see this. All right, your gene can get messed up there in a mutation. Also, the folding of the protein can be messed up. So if the protein itself, I'm just going to use this right here. If the protein is made correctly, it's going to fold up in a particular way so that protein will fit through a cell membrane, a transport protein of a cell membrane. If it's folded up wrong, that protein won't work and you can't have it come into a cell. If it's the wrong protein because it was coded wrong, it won't be allowed to come into the cell. So even changes can happen to the folding of the protein once it's all done. Causes of mutation. It can be spontaneous. It just happened. No rhyme or reason. Some things can happen, like chemicals and radiation can happen. When I was in high school back in the 90s, a lot of girls, especially the white girls, would go to tanning beds and get tan, especially before prom. Tan skin is so pretty, and it looks really pretty in your prom dress. So we would go to tanning booths and get radiation to make our skin look darker and more tan. Now we know radiation from tanning beds can cause cancers and cause damage to our skin cells. So that would be a really bad thing. We try to avoid the sun and be really careful. Nobody should get a sunburn, no matter what color you are. Sunburns can damage your skin. Having x-rays, anything like that can happen too. My sister used to work as an x-ray technician, and she used to wear a little badge that measured how much radiation she got. And every time she would take someone in the x-ray room, she would be exposed to radiation. And the badge would change color if she had too much radiation. If her color changed up to like a purple, they would have her go home and stay at home for a week and let the radiation ooze out of her. And so that she could come back in. So trying to keep her levels of exposure to radiation down from working in an x-ray lab. Okay, if we mutate our cells, if we end up mutating ourselves, there's mutating our body cells, and then there's mutating our reproductive cells, and that's a big difference. My body cells, and you might want to underline this word, are called somatic cells. You'll see those again. Somatic cells are any body cell. So my hair, my eyes, my skin, my blood, my organs, those are all somatic cells. My reproductive cells, those are called sex cells. So if I'm a girl, my eggs, or if I'm a boy, my sperm. Those things can be mutated also. So which do you think is a bigger problem? You mutating a skin cell or you mutating a reproductive cell? Well, if you mutate your skin cells or your body cells, you could get a disease, or you could get a cancer, you could have a problem. If you mutate your reproductive cells when you graduate, go to college, graduate college, get married, decide to have kids, hopefully in that order. When you have a child, you might pass that radiation or that mutation on to your child, caused from that mutation that you had. So that causes it to go on to a next generation of people. So some people might say that messing up my reproductive cells might be a bigger problem because it has more long-term side effects. All right, that's it. Now, what are you responsible for? Let's go back in the Google Classroom. Okay, today you need to do the mutation worksheet right here. I can see one person's already got it turned in. Yes. Okay, on this worksheet, it goes through the main types: deletion, insertion, substitution. Once you get what type it is, go ahead and continue it on so you know it's not just a substitution, but is it a missense or a silent or a nonsense? So right here, you're going to code the mRNA. So remember, T goes with A goes with U because it's RNA, C goes with G. So this first one is AUG. Now, you need to code it to an amino acid. On this sheet, there's not an amino acid, but on this notes, there is a codon table. There's also in the textbook a codon table. So let's see. A, here's the row for U, and here's the row for G. That is start methionine. So we go back here. Right here, you put start. And of course, you could put methionine too, but a lot of kids just like to write start. Okay? And then you make your whole codon here. Here, I got my paper right here. Okay? All right, so I did my base pairing, and I have start, tryptophan, asparagine. Okay? You see that? All right, and then I go to my next one, and I do the same thing, but I have to see what's changed. And I see that this one has changed. It's not the same up here, but it's just one thing has changed that's different. And then I do the same thing. I put the same amino acids, but I don't have tryptophan anymore. I have arginine. But all the other ones are the same. Everything else ends up being the same. It's just this one that gets messed up, and then it ends up being the same. I think I might have messed up there. It shouldn't be tryptophan on my paper. Should say asparagine. So let me fix that real quick. Should write in pencil because it's science, but I like writing with my colors. Okay, let me pull that back up. Okay, I just whited that out, but it should go arginine and then asparagine, and then everything else should be the exact same as above. But I just have that one amino acid that's changed. Okay, and then I have to say, will there be a side effect? Yes, because the amino acids are different, which means my protein will be different. What type of mutation is this? Well, the T was substituted instead of a C. So it's a substitution. And then I look down and I see what type of substitution. So here, one base is substituted for another. So that's a substitution. And then which type of substitution? You should have missense. If it's a substitution changes the amino acid, which it did, it gave me arginine instead of tryptophan. So this was a changing the amino acid. It's called a missense. Okay. So I'm going to repeat that over and over and do this over and over to see other mutations. We get back from Christmas, we're going to do a genetic research project, and you are going to see what genetic illnesses are caused by a mutation or a chromosomal problem. And you can see what illnesses are caused by something so simple as a substitution of a missense. It can cause some devastating things. So fill this out using the text read write PDF, and then you can turn it into the Google Classroom. You also are responsible for tonight completing the study guide. You have study guide sections 3 and 4. Now, if you were in class, you had a printed version, it's a packet, and you can turn the whole packet into me next week in person on Monday. Or if you're online or quarantining, then you need to finish it up here and turn it into the Google Classroom. You want to make sure that all of them are done, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and these go back to the previous weeks. You have to find where they are in the previous weeks. But that should be turned in tomorrow online to make sure you have it done. And then tomorrow, Thursday, you have review questions from the textbook to turn in. Looks like I've got one person done. Yay, good job, this one kid. And then you on the USA Test Prep to finish this. This one test, and yay, I've got one kid done. Good job. To make sure you take your test for DNA on the USA Test Prep. You can repeat your test a couple of times so you can get a better score. This needs to be done Friday. It needs to be done Friday. You need to turn it in and finish it on Friday. Come Monday, I put the grades in the grade book. So if you still don't have it Monday turned into me by second period, then it counts as a missing grade. So even my online kids, you need to finish this up on Fridays and have it turned into me so that Monday I can grade it. All right, if you have questions, let me know. I'll do a Google Meet on Friday. If you have any questions, make sure you're using my office hours. I'm here at school from 7:45 until 3:45. If you ask me a question at 9 o'clock at night on a Friday, chances are I will still respond, but that's my at-home time. And it's harder to respond to something on a Saturday and Sunday when I'm at my at-home time. I will respond Monday morning. So make sure you ask me questions in my office time during school time. Email me, do Google Meet, text me on Remind during school time. All right, I hope you have a great day. It's going to rain today, so stay dry. Bye.